We could probably cover this pretty quickly. I saw an article talking about gas stoves and childhood cancer rates. Now, I'm sure if you're politically involved, I'm sure you remember over the last couple of years, there's been this whole hubbub about gas stoves and potentially banning them or restricting their use somewhat. And a lot of people were really mad. A lot of people were the I'm not gonna say the freedom and liberty people because they're not the real freedom and liberty people, right? If you were really for freedom and liberty, this would not be where your focus is. The fake freedom and liberty people, the people that like the aesthetic and veneer of freedom and liberty and are will buy products and are the people that are susceptible to that kind of marketing, but I haven't really thought about these concepts any deeper or in any sort of ideological or theoretical capacity. Um, but yeah, basically there was some soft studies that had come out, or some research that had come out that said that there was a link between childhood cancer rates and gas stoves being in the home. And so seems like if there really is an explicit, provable scientific link there, then we banning gas stoves in homes makes tons of sense to me. On top of the fact that gas stoves are very inefficient as far as power delivery goes. Electric and convection stoves are way, way more efficient at power delivery and cooking things than gas. A huge when you cook something with a gas stove, the vast majority of it just goes off into space. Scientists sound the alarm after linking popular home appliances to cancer risk. Risks for the children are approximately 4 to 16 times higher. New research shows that millions of Americans, especially children, may have higher cancer risks after being exposed to pollution from gas stoves. According to a study published in the Journal of Hazardous Materials, gas stoves can elevate cancer risks in homes with significant stove usage and poor ventilation. The cancer risk from gas stove exposure is 1.85 times higher for children than adults. Natural gas, so basically the the carcinogenic exposure that gas stoves give you are 1.85 times, or I guess 85% more harmful to children than they are adults. Natural gas and propane stoves release the carcinogen benzene. Carcinogens are substances that increase the risk of cancer. According to NPR, 35% of homes in America use gas stoves despite the health and environmental dangers. In the study, the researchers examined health risks in homes with gas stoves that emit the most benzene, specifically the top 5% highest benzene emitting gas stoves. This seemingly small fraction impacts roughly 6.3 million Americans. The scientists measured the effects of low, medium, and high stove usage in both ventilated and non ventilated conditions. Medium to high gas stove usage in homes with poor ventilation was revealed to significantly elevate cancer risks. I'm going to read that sentence one more time, that paragraph one more time. The scientists measured the effects of low, medium, and high stove usage in both ventilated and non ventilated conditions. Medium to high gas stove usage in homes with poor ventilation was revealed to significantly elevate cancer risks. Additionally, the researchers found that if ventilation isn't used, so any ventilation, the risks for the children are approximately 4 to 16 times higher than the common limit of carcinogenic effects for all four types of dwellings. The scientists noted that high efficiency vented hoods are decent options to reduce benzene exposure. They also said that addressing combustion related indoor pollutants in relation to human health should be a priority. Induction ranges are safer alternatives to gas stoves, according to Consumer Reports. Induction stoves are much better for indoor air quality, in part because they don't emit benzene and are about 3 times more efficient than gas stoves. High tech induction ranges also cook faster than other stove options. That's consistent with what I said before and my understanding of the differences between gas, electric, and convection stoves. Switching to or sorry, not convection, induction. Switching to an induction range doesn't have to be expensive. Plug-in induction burners are great options for renters or folks who can't afford kitchen renovations. They can be purchased at a starting price of $50. Meanwhile, homeowners can get up to 30% off the cost of an induction range thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act. Oh, so I wonder if they put in some sort of tax incentive. That would be cool. It looks like I'm. Fuck it, I'll click on that. Unless it's a whole article talking about the Inflation Reduction Act. If it's just pointing out this one specific gas stove, this is the whole Inflation Reduction Act, isn't it? Okay, I'm not gonna read all this right now, but it looks like I would guess they implemented a tax incentive to put in an induct to install an induction stove over a gas or electric. Taking advantage of the incentives could save homeowners thousands of dollars, but they may need to act sooner rather than later. The Trump administration announced its intention to cut back some energy efficient policies. However, major IRA changes would have to be approved by Congress. Inflation reduction changes. Okay, so administration announced its intention to cut back some energy efficient policies. Yeah, of course. The Trump administration announced its intention to cut back some energy efficient policies. Yeah, I mean, I think this is like absolute peak cynicism, peak pessimism. But I think we've reached that. I think it's justified to be at that point with this administration just because of how hysterical and just the pure lunacy that we're seeing. And so when I see something like the Trump administration announced its intention to cut back some energy efficient policies, this not only doesn't surprise me, this like I think if you came at it from the perspective of, let's think of the good things that government does, and then think of, okay, that's where Trump's going to go first and try and attack first. I think you'd be very justified in thinking that sort of way because it seems, I don't know, it seems more and more like that's exactly what they're doing. I feel like this whole administration gives off the vibe that they're all billionaires, completely insulated from any of the effects of their policies, and that um, and that they are they are interested in that they're interested in triggering the libs, but from a billionaire's perspective. So like if you're a regular everyday person, cutting food stamps doesn't really seem like a trigger the lib position, right? You may be a conservative, but like cutting food and you may be against food stamps, but you wouldn't really see that as a trigger the lib sort of position. Like you're that's not really one of those things that first comes to mind when you think of triggering the libs. But like I think I feel like that's from their billionaire perspective, taking away those things is triggering the libs. So I think that is exactly what it's almost like they're coming from the perspective of billionaires trying to trigger the libs, not just regular everyday conservatives or Republicans.